Well, hello again. I'm Bob Weir with another interview of notable people in North Texas. My guest today is Judge David Garcia, a Republican who is running for re-election to judge of the Denton County Criminal Court Number 3, also known as Veterans Court. The Republican primary is on March 6th. Thank you for being here, Judge.
Thank you, Bob. It's always a pleasure to be talking to you and your wife.
And by the way, the judge and I are both wearing our 22 kill challenge ring, so
Yes, sir.
I just want to, I remembered it this time, so. I see, well, actually, he came in with it, and I put mine on quickly because I saw him with it. Please, if you would, Judge, give our viewers some background information, such as education, occupation.
My undergraduate degree is from Texas Tech University in 1981. I graduated from the University of Texas Law School in 1984. I've also graduated from a College of Advanced Judicial Studies in 2008. Pretty much that's my educational background with respect to, and I've been a judge since 1997 of this court, County Criminal Court Number 3. I passed the bar and is admitted to the State Bar of Texas in 1984.
How many criminal courts are there in Denton County?
We have 5 criminal courts, specifically Class A and B misdemeanors is primarily what we handle.
And, okay, so the type of cases that you handle in criminal court number 3 would be?
Mostly we handle drugs and alcohol type of cases. That's predominantly most of our cases that we have. Driving while intoxicated cases, possession of marijuana, low grade, possession of controlled substances, and some theft cases. We do have, and our statute allows us to do felony driving while intoxicated charges. I have presided over a number of felony trials right now. Judge Waddell is presiding over most of the felony trials in our county, driving while intoxicated.
And so that court also is sometimes known as the Veterans Treatment Court. When was that established?
The Veterans Treatment Court in our county, in Denton County, was established in 2009. The County Commissioners Court established that court. The legislature gave the counties the authority to set up a specialized court just for veterans. And when it was first established, Judge Jim Crouch of the County Criminal Court Number 1, he was the first Veterans Court judge. And later in 2012, they really had no one in that Veterans Treatment Court. It really wasn't moving. I was asked to preside over that court after 2 additional judges had turned her down, and so I absolutely stepped up and wanted to help our veterans. And since 2012, I have been the presiding judge of the Veterans Treatment Court.
Where is the criminal court number 3 located?
We're at the main courthouse, 1450 East McKinney in Denton, on the 4th floor in the main courthouse.
Now, as far as the Veterans Treatment Court, again, is it only available to combat veterans?
When the statute first started, it was only combat veterans were allowed in the court, but subsequently, a little while later, a few years ago, the legislature passed a kind of an amendment allowing anybody who had any type of military-connected service injury to be allowed in the court.
And someone who is affected, let's say, by PTSD, would be available. That would be available to them for treatment.
Yes, sir. And for instance, military sexual trauma is something that doesn't necessarily always happen in combat, but happens in the States and happens on non-combat related issues. We've had many men and women who have come through our courts that have military sexual trauma that necessarily were not in a combat related service.
And how does a veteran get his or her case handled by the Veterans Court?
First and foremost, our legislature has given the district attorney the sole authority to allow any veteran who meets the criteria under the statute to come into our court. So we go through a rigorous review process. We as far as our team, our treatment team, we make contact early on with the veterans as soon as they get in jail, or as soon as we know that they're in jail, we send letters of engagement that you may be eligible for this type of court. I've often spoken at many Rotaries and Chamber of Commerce's or in other clubs around this county, talking about Veterans Treatment Courts. I've even spoken at national conventions of Military Purple Hearts and Texas conventions of Military Purple Heart. Just getting everyone to understand what Veterans Treatment Court is and the availability in their particular areas and the particular states.
And what are some of the remedies that are offered to vets by the court?
We are every veteran that comes in our court has an individual treatment plan, and how we handle it is they come in. We first of all figure out just exactly how they got into the court, what crime that they had committed. We send them to one of our psychologists and do a full battery of tests to kind of tell us what's going on with our veteran, depression issues, alcohol issues, post-traumatic stress scales. They're all evidence-based treatment protocol that he goes over. Then we send them to a family counselor, a family study to find out what the family component is and how they interact with a veteran. Because it's real important, at least in our treatment team, to ensure that the family is part of our process and how the veterans are reintegrated back into society. So we work hand in hand with the family. We kind of get a background who their support system is, and so it doesn't work unless the total family is involved. We have a family component in our court, and we were the first court, to my knowledge, in the country that added that as a main component of our treatment when the veterans came in.
So the district attorney makes the final decision as to whether a veteran goes to this Veterans Treatment Court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, suppose a veteran is arrested again after the first arrest was, let's say, adjudicated by the court.
Well, if they go through Veterans Treatment Court and they successfully complete Veterans Treatment Court, in theory, their cases could be eligible to have it permanently removed from their record. Some of the veterans exercise that option. The legislature this past year allowed the veterans, once they graduate, they waived all their filing fees and they were eligible for immediate expunction of the records. And the expunction means it's permanently removes that particular criminal incident from their record. Their arrest, from all the databases, FBI, the Texas databases, all the police agencies, all the district attorney's office, the court system, everything is permanently removed. In theory, the veterans are not entitled to a second kind of bite at the apple, so to speak. But there's nothing that would prohibit the district attorney's office at any time who they feel the veteran is in need can put them back through the court. Not necessarily for the expunction remedy, but also to get the assistance from the court and from our treatment team.
So that would be a judgment on the part of the district attorney also?
To get in, we've had a few of our veterans that are in our court that the district attorney's office did not approve getting in the normal route, but the judges in our inherent power have the authority to send people through our Veterans Treatment Court because of the highly specialized treatment that we provide.
All right, Judge, let me ask you this question. Tell our viewers, in your opinion, why should you be reelected?
Bob, thank you. This is a county criminal court, and we have 5 of them in our county, and I've been this judge, like I said, for a number of years. I've been proven to uphold our conservative principles that we value as judges. I know it's very hard for any individual to kind of judge the performance of judges. And so I'll just give you a little bit of background. First, does he know the law? So which is reversal rates? I'm probably the lowest reverse judge in the entire county, specifically, I know for sure in the county criminal courts. 2, is he a good steward of taxpayers' money? I've had consistently the lowest court-appointed attorney's fees for taxpayer-funded attorneys, so I'm a good steward of the money. And third, the constitutional right to a trial by a jury, the speedy trial. I think if you ask any court, anybody in our system, my court, County Criminal Court number 3 that I presided over, always has the quickest trial settings for anybody who wants to have their cases heard in the jury system in our county. I've also been a leader in the state. I've had the respect of my local colleagues. They've nominated me, elected me as a local administrative judge. My colleagues across the state have earned their respect by allowing me to be the judge of, preside over the Texas Center for the Judiciary and also the judicial section of the State Bar of Texas, and I'm also an instructor at the College of New Judges.
Well, I want to thank you, Judge. As you can see, our time is gone, but I want to thank you, Judge Garcia, for being here, and good luck in the election.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for everything you've
Thank
done.
you, and thank you for watching.